What's going on, everybody? This is Joe, and I am back for another Wilds of Eldraine pre-release kit opening. If you missed it, I did one of these last week as well, so I encourage you to go check that out. That was a very interesting opening. We opened at least one very spicy, surprising card, but I mean, there were a number of mythics, like more than one or two mythics opened in that kit, so I highly encourage you to click right up top there if you did not get a chance to see that video and check it out. We have another black D20 from the set, which I like quite a bit. I will leave that over on the side because that is my second black, whereas I had opened a third white one last week. I don't mind giving you that spoiler because who's here for that? We then will also be having an MTG Arena code given away in this video. And if you missed last week, you'll be surprised to hear it's not just one. It's 3. We have 3 codes for MTG Arena to give away because it's only 1 code per account, so we can't benefit from multiples just the same as you all can't. It's not our rule, it's Wizards' rule, so don't complain to us, but it does mean that if you have not gotten a chance to get a code, we are giving away some here, so please feel free to take advantage. We have a Beanstalk Worm as the insert, right? That's what the insert looks like for this for these kits. We have the Planeswalker symbol on the back. And there is also, I guess I can show off the packs themselves, right? We'll leave those on the side. We'll move this box over to the side. So the packs go over here. And we have a little insert on telling you how to build a pre-release deck for new players or people who need a refresher, as well as a Know Your Role card. In the Wilds, everyone has a part to play. Are you cut out for greatness? Now, last week I read about the Young Hero and the Sorcerer, so this week I will read about Royal here. It says, rule the commoners from the safety of your keep. And we have the Wicked role as well, which is right over here, depicted right over here. All will tremble before your villainy. Very cool. And I will read the last 2 next week, because I have one more opening to do next week. We have an On an Adventure token in here, as well as the promo foil rare or mythic, and the rolls that we just talked about, because they are tokens that you can make. So the Royal / Young Hero token, Royal, Young Hero, is right here. On the opposite side, you have Sorcerer and Monster, and on the back of On an Adventure, you have Wicked and Cursed. But, as I said, also in that stack is our promo foil rare, a Regal Bunnicorn. So obviously this wants to go in a deck that's going wide, right? Power and toughness equal to the number of non-land permanents you control. Although actually, I guess that's not fair. Not necessarily a deck that wants to go wide, but a deck that's going to be making a bunch of non-land permanents. So that could be food, that could be creature tokens, that could be just regular enchantments in general, like from the bonus sheet and things like that, or it could be, of course, all of the above. So that will definitely be something we can keep an eye out for. This card is very, very good if they don't have an answer for it. So, and if they do and it eats removal, it's a 2-mana 1/1 at its worst, so that's pretty good. We will leave that on the side. I don't think it automatically means we're in white, right? That would be very silly, but it does mean that it's something that we would look at if we were, you know, toying between a couple of strategies or things like that. So we have the packs with Rowan on the front, of course. And we start with a Diminisher Witch, a Kellen's Lightblades, good one. Hamlet Glutton, very good. Feed the Cauldron, nice removal spell. Ice Out for a counter spell. Witch's Mark, gets some card selection, some card draw. Ginger Brute, just being fast and getting in for unblockable, possibly damage. Scarecrow Guide, not bad for a little bit of filtering if you need it. We have our first uncommon, Enshrouded Shepherd. Obviously, you could play this for just the black side, just the white side, or both. But we do have this Bunnicorn as well that we were kind of looking at, and this is a pretty good card. We have a Gadwick's First Duel Saga, uncommon. And we have Greta, Sweet Tooth Scourge, as our last uncommon in this pack. interesting gold card. We can keep our eye out for some good green and blue. Again, this talks about wanting food, and I said that the Regal Bunnicorn actually does pretty well in a food strategy, right? You just fill the deck, or the board with a bunch of food, and that helps grow the Bunnicorn. So, very interesting. Which means our next rare or mythic is a Sir Ginger the Meal Ender. Interestingly, in a food deck, this does very well. It says whenever another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, this gets a counter, and you scry one. So any food that you end up eating or sacrificing to different effects and things like that, this makes Sir Ginger that much bigger. If you care about specifically having artifacts for whatever reason, that, you know, but a card besides Sir Ginger caring about you having artifacts, Sir Ginger would fit that bill as well. So very, very nice rare here. Don't worry about the line about Planeswalkers. There's just Ashiok in the set. You might get lucky, but I would still mainboard this if you have a decent, sorry about that noise out there, if you have a decent strategy for artifacts and things like that, like food, like I was saying. So behind Sir Ginger, our Enchanting Tales card is an Intangible Virtue. So again, if you're working with the Regal Bunnicorn and you're trying to make a bunch of tokens, this one works very well. Note that it says creature tokens. So be aware of that. If we are not making tokens in any capacity, this card definitely does not get included. And even if we do, we got to count how many tokens we're going to be making, because if it's not enough, this card also doesn't get in. But if it does, really nice include. Behind it, I think we have a foil. We do. It is a foil common Merfolk Coralsmith. Not in love with this card, won't lie to you. Card is fine at best, I suppose. And that's my opinion. Obviously, let me know if you disagree in the comments down below. But the foiling pattern looks really cool. That's something. Behind the Coralsmith, we have a regular Plains and a Rat token. Next, we have... I was like, really, Pack? You're going to give me trouble? I don't like it. All right, we get another Hamlet Glutton, huh? Okay. This is a very good card. It's scary if it comes down early enough, or really just in general. I mean, a 6/6 trample, gain 3 life. Just a good card in general. We have a Feed the Cauldron, nice one. Storm-Keld Prowler. Archon's Glory. This card is very good. I was pleasantly surprised by this card during our streamer event that we got to do. Thank you, Wizards, for the opportunity. We had a Brave the Wilds. Harried Spearguard, that's a good one. Crystal Grotto, so if you need the filtering / fixing, this is a good one. We have a Red Cap Thief, make some treasure. A Candy Trail, here's another food card, by the way, for the food deck. And just an incredible card in general. Even if we're not playing food strategies, I absolutely would put this in. And this obviously works very well with Sir Ginger, because you can absolutely sack this, gain 3 life, and draw a card for the same amount that you would just use for a food to just gain 3 life. So very, very nice. We have a Spell Scorn Coven as our first uncommon. A Belligerent of the Ball, that's a good one, as our second. And an Agatha's Champion as the third. Which means our next rare or mythic is a Tale for the Ages. Enchanted creatures you control get +2/+2. So obviously, you would want to have this in a deck with rolls, a lot of rolls being made. And obviously that is, I mean, we're looking at the green-white deck as a possibility, I think, in my opinion at this point. So with the Intangible Virtue as well as Tale for the Ages, might be kind of interesting. We could make some pretty big, scary creatures. I don't know that I've seen a ton of cards that make rolls yet, but I would, you all have the benefit of going back and looking at the commons and uncommons that I might have, mentally skipped over. So, speaking of enchantments, we have our next Enchanting Tales card, which is a Leyline of the Void. I don't know about this one personally. We're not looking at black, so yeah, this is not the card that we would necessarily be looking for right now. Behind it, we do not have a foil. We have a Full Art Forest, gorgeous, and a human token, which means it is time again for a code for MTG Arena. I say time again because we did this last week as well in giving away codes for MTG Arena, but it's the first one for this particular video. So as a reminder, as I said, Wizards rule, not our rule, but it is 1 code per account. So shout outs to the Champion Card Collector community. That's Poughkeepsie, New York, if you are interested in checking them out. Because the reason that we have these extra codes is both because we entered events that, we could only use one code from those events, but also folks at Champion who either entered multiple events or don't play Arena, whatever, they tend to pass their codes along to us because they can't use them beneficially. And so for those of you who are not able to get out to a pre-release for whatever reason whatsoever, hopefully you will be able to use this code. If you get cool stuff, let us know. We would love to have you shout it out in the comments down below and say, hey, the first code worked for me. And again, you are more than welcome to use that opportunity to say, oh man, I opened the 6 packs and I got this mythic or this rare, or, thank you, or, oh, it sucked and I got nothing. Whatever you want to let us know about, that's what the comments down below are for. We have an Into the Fey Court, an Unassuming Sage. That's a way to get a roll on something. We have a Return from the Wilds, a Scream Puff. That's a fun one. A Balluna's Gatekeeper, Rat Catcher Trainee, a Red Tooth Genealogist, another way to get a good a roll on something. A Skewer Slinger. Torch the Tower is a nice one. Tattered Ratter is our first uncommon. A Storm-Keld Vanguard. It does give you the option for destroying an artifact or enchantment, which is nice, and then it's just, a big scary 6/7. Why not? And that's our second uncommon, which means our third is Dream Spoilers, which means our next rare or mythic is the Goose Mother. I mean, could we splash blue for this? Sure, if we really wanted to. It could be a big flyer. We don't have a lot of ways of ramping that I can recall or that I've seen yet. But if this is really something that you wanted to put in, you could absolutely splash blue for this. I don't think I've seen a ton of fixing yet, but there is some. So that is an option. I don't know that I would go out of my way for it right now, but it is a possibility. It does make food. So there is that. And then it says you may sack a food to draw a card. So yeah, I mean, in the food deck, maybe I would. Maybe I would try to splash for this. Why not? But it means that our next Enchanting Tales card is Garruk's Uprising. I mean, if we're in green-white, it looked like, we had those Hamlet Gluttons or whatever. This could absolutely get in. It lets us draw cards. It gives our creatures trample, which is quite nice. So yeah, I would definitely consider this one as well. Very, very nice. Behind it, we have a regular mountain and a food token. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, food strategy, very cool. Obviously, we, came off of Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth as well prior to this set, and that was a good one as well. So yeah, I would probably, so far in this kit, I would try a food strategy for sure. We have Plunge into Winter. I would absolutely put this in, if we need a cut, maybe it gets cut, but this is a pretty decent card. So Plunge into Winter, Brave the Wilds, a Conceited Witch, Aquatic Alchemist, another Archon's Glory, hell yeah. We have a Kindled Heroism, Minstrosity, Cut In, that's a good one. Ruby, Daring Tracker is our first uncommon. I don't know that I would take Ruby or put Ruby in our deck here. Again, obviously we'd have to splash for her if we were putting her in at all, but I wouldn't try to go out of my way to put her in this one, at least so far. We have a Knight of Doves. It does care about enchantments going to the graveyard, so obviously if they have enchantment removal, that's one thing, but otherwise any rolls that we have on our creatures, if we're doubling up and one of the rolls has to go to the graveyard, we get 1/1 birds. Not a bad card. And those count as creature tokens for if we are playing Intangible Virtue. And we have a Disdainful Stroke as another method of countering spells, which means our next rare or mythic is a Mosswood Dread Knight. In the showcase artwork, by the way, if that was unclear. We don't have to be playing black, although obviously the card is insane if we can get some black, because, yeah, like this card's just very, very good. Out of the graveyard, draw a card, lose a life, and then replay the creature out of the adventure. I think if we're not in black, it's probably not good enough. 2 mana, 3/2 trample. I'm not so sure. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, as with literally anything. Our Enchanting Tales card is a Waste Knot. I haven't really seen ways of us making our opponent discard things, and, you know, we're not really looking at black despite the Mosswood Dread Knight, so this probably would not get in. I think we have a foil back here as well, and it is... We do. It's a foil uncommon in Imidane's Recruiter. I mean, this is a cool card. I don't think we need it. It does make tokens, so we could put this in, notably, to just play the Adventure, because the Adventure is white. We wouldn't need any red in the deck whatsoever if we really wanted to, and had a way of like making treasure or something, and we wanted to play this creature off of the Adventure because we had really nothing else to do. That's totally fine. But if we were looking at our creature token strategy, we can make 2/2/2 knights for 5 mana with this sorcery Adventure, and that's perfect. That's a nice card to have in the deck for that purpose and that purpose alone. So I would absolutely play this. Behind the Recruiter, we have a regular island and a food token, which means it is time for code 2 of 3. Don't worry, they are still coming. This, as I said, or hopefully I said, this is our small way of saying thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on these streams, wow, I'm used to streaming, sorry. Joining us for these videos. It's a ton of fun to make these for all of you. I've opened so much product from this set because if you missed it, we have a large opening that came out multiple weeks ago, I guess at this point. But if you click up there, you can see I opened over $2,000 worth of product from this set boosters and collector boosters. Opened some pretty sweet stuff. So I encourage you to check that out. And then if you would, I talked about streaming, you can come and join us on stream every Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on this channel. On Mondays, we play MTG Arena, and we would love to hear your thoughts on any of these videos that you take the time to watch in the comments and or live on stream. We'd love to have you. We have a Conceited Witch to start. Aquatic Alchemist. Plunge into Winter again. Curse of the Werefox puts more rolls on things. Very nice, and it's a fight spell. Sugar Rush, or a bite spell? Oh, it's a fight. I was right. Sugar Rush. Merfolk Coralsmith. Snare Master Sprite. Ariette's Whisper. An Unruly Catapult. First one of these we've seen in a while. This is a very good card in the right deck. We have a Splashy Spellcaster as our first uncommon. Wow, these last 3 cards are asking us to be in a very particular deck, huh? Johan, Apprentice Sorcerer, is the second uncommon. It's a very good card, but not for the deck that we're trying to make. And a Stroke of Midnight. Now, this one absolutely would get in. It does make creature tokens, so if we wanted to destroy one of our cards to make a token so that we get that benefit, we could do that. If we wanted to kill, like, their big, scary Hamlet Glutton or something like that to give them a 1/1 human, we absolutely could do that as well. Or really anything in between. And so our next rare or mythic is a Charming Scoundrel. This card doesn't make me jump up out of my seat. It's a decent card for a deck that we are not in, so we would probably not be playing this, and this does not pull me away from our strategy at this point. But our Enchanting Tales card is a Utopia Sprawl. Yeah, I mean, we get to add additional mana. It can help us splash for the Goose Mother or the Mosswood Dread Knight if we really wanted to. Pretty good card. Not bad at all. I would absolutely put this in. And behind it, just a regular forest and a monster/sorcerer role token. We might need multiples of that, either of those, so that is good to have. Which means we are up to our last pack. And inside of it, it has Water Wings to start. Armory Mice. I mean, this cares about celebration. +0/+2. Yeah, I don't think this would get in if we like are hurting for a creature, maybe. We have a Verdant Outrider. I would probably put this in. Why not? We have a Stingblade Assassin, a Living Lectern, Bespoke Battle Garb. I'm not in love with this card, so I probably would not. Oh, actually, sorry, we're talking about green-white right now, so never mind. I just don't like that card in general. Protective Parents. This is a very good one, and it puts rolls on things. Very cool, if and when it dies. We have a Frantic Firebolt. That's a good one. Grabby Giant. Also a good one. Neva, Stalked by Nightmares. I mean, sure, if we're looking at the Mosswood Dread Knight, maybe we could look at Neva as well. It does get creatures or a creature or enchantment back, and then whenever one of our enchantments goes into the graveyard, I really wouldn't like go out of my way to get this card in there, but I would look at my stuff. I would look at my stuff and see if I felt like it was synergistic enough, especially if I'm playing the deck and I find that I don't have a ton of creatures out. And so I end up putting this like multiple rolls on the same creature, which means we have to sack previous rolls. Then I would definitely put this in. Very, very interesting. Behind Neva, we have a Fairy Fencing, good card not for our deck, and a Solitary Sanctuary. Sure, why not? I would play this. I guess it taps something for 3 and then you could bargain it later. Again, I guess I'd have to look at what I have. We're not really going to be tapping things, although we do have those 2 winter cards. I forget the exact name of them, but the one with the thing in the block of ice and you tap something. So again, I would look at my stuff and I would consider it. Not a terrible card, but not an auto include for sure. Which means our last rare or mythic is the Iron Crag. Interesting. Notably, I mean, like, the Goose Mother is legendary, but, like, and so is Sir Ginger. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd probably put this in. It's a ramp card. It helps us ramp to the Goose Mother and things like that, or making the Goose Mother bigger. And then if and when we play Sir Ginger or the Goose Mother, we could turn this into a +3/+3 equipment for 3 mana. So, yeah, why not? I would probably put this in. Again, any opinions that you have, that's what the comments down below are for sure, if you disagree with me. And then behind it, our Enchanting Tales card is Season of Growth. I mean, yeah, sure. We're casting spells that target a creature we control. So if we have, if we have creatures that say, like, when they die, you put a roll on something, that doesn't count. But if it's like, you know, the fight spell, put a monster roll on something on target creature, and then it fights target creature, this would work for that. We'd get to draw cards off that. So yeah, I definitely would. Why not? It's 2 mana. I would put this in for sure. Behind it, do we have a foil? No, we don't. We don't. It's a regular mountain and a royal/young hero token. Now, you might have thought I forgot, but don't worry, I didn't. There's one more code for MTG Arena. That's how we're going to end this video. And then I will leave you, I guess, looking at the Mosswood Dread Knight or something, because it's a cool card. But yeah, here is the last code for MTG Arena. Don't forget, while you are here, folks, we really appreciate that you are spending your time with us, watching our videos. Please feel free to subscribe and ring that bell. It is completely free to you, don't forget. And it lets you know exactly when our videos come out and or exactly when we go live, like I said, Mondays and Fridays. We also have other channels as well. Links down in the description box below for Video Games for All and Gluten Free for All. We would love to have you join us on those as well, because we have an absolute blast over there. So hopefully you will join us. Like I said, any and all thoughts that you might have down in the comments below of this video. What deck would you make out of this? What did you think of what we opened? This was an interesting one. Last week was a lot spicier, I would say, of an opening, but still, I hope that you enjoyed this one, and we will be back next week or soon for the last of the 3 openings that we will be doing with 3 more codes. So thank you all so very much for joining me, and for now, from us here at the Geek for All family of channels, I've been Joe, and as we always say, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody!